time for our first keynote session, a talk by celebrity Chef Saby Gorai. A small but very impressive introduction. Chef Saby is a consultant chef and mentor at Chef Saby Restaurant Consultancy. He is the recipient of the President of India's Award for the Best Chef. Saby also enjoys a cult following as the dynamic president of the Young Chefs Forum of IFCA. He is also a restaurant partner and has significant projects to his credit. He is called the chef with the Midas touch. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Chef Saby on stage.
Hi, good morning. So first of all, I have to apologize for looking sleepy. It was a very late night flight from Hyderabad, but this is, I guess, what happens to entrepreneurs. You got to keep traveling, looking for newer pastures. Second, I didn't carry my written notes like I did for the TiE Calcutta Forum, but I must tell you, I forgot to read it. So there was 4 pages of it, but I didn't read. So I realized this time what I'm going to do is, on my way to the airport, sitting at the lounge. The lounges are amazing. And Hyderabad, anybody from Hyderabad here? Fantastic. The Hyderabad lounge has upgraded itself. So, and the food and beverage facility is stunning. So yes, thank you for this amazing introduction. Ranjana, thank you for having me here. I know you've all come from far and near. TiE Bangalore chapter, TiE Coimbatore chapter. I hope this is a day that you get to interact, you get to converse with people, like-minded people, and build. You must be already have built major businesses, but let's hope that this particular day it kind of gives you the spark of doing something new and something different. For me, 32 years in the industry, I joined my hotel management program by default. It was 1992, 93, so it makes it 31 years. 20 odd years as a chef and a culinary director of a large company. I'm going to speak about that a little more. I have about 15 minutes, right? Okay. So I had also mentioned that, you know what, you should put me on a Q&A because I'm much better at that than delivering keynote. Also at a business forum where I don't see myself as a great business person, but I'm going to talk about my learning, my 2 bits of the industry. Also the little failures. I think that it's very important to learn from our failures. Also the companies that I've been associated with, which is kind of, I would have to say that I'll give you the names one after the other, the ones that I've been part of, because it's 32 years of career. When I was, first I'm going to talk about this one simple thing because I don't remember when one of these forums somebody was talking about 20 years back and said, entrepreneurs should invest good on the footwear and take care of their knees. I didn't understand the seriousness of that chat that time, but I realized that it has to be a lot of long hours that you got to invest in your businesses, in leading your team, in being present at the middle, and being the face of your business. And that's why it's very important, I think, the footwear and the taking care of the knee. Because largely today, a lot of people are constantly going and having issues with their knee. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but this is something that I practice in my life. I'm 52 years old, and I've been standing in a kitchen for last 32 years, almost 14 to 16 hours, also interacting with guests, also doing sessions like these, doing pop-ups like events. And I think it's important that you have to carry yourself and put up your best face forward, because your team which is the team that kind of drives all your businesses, takes energy from you, looks up to you for direction. So the dedication and being there is very important in our industry. I'm going to quickly talk a little bit about my background. College dropout. I won't say college dropout. I finished 12th, but couldn't go through the next 3 years, which is the BSc program. Had a partial dyslexia, which probably back in the days wasn't very well recognized. So there was issues with learning, talking, didn't speak English at all. And this was Bombay. I have to tell you that separately at some point. So what happened was, I was very into sports. I drew and painted a lot. I was very much about expressing myself. And then at some point, as like I said, that, back in the days, if you didn't go through IIT, if you didn't go through medicals, you were told, ki, go to hotel management, kuch kar le yaar jaake. So we all joined, a lot of my friends, I'm from a small town called Asansol, which is West Bengal, Bihar border. So a lot of us joined the hotel management program. Back in the days, it was quite, considered again glamorous. And that's where I found my calling with food. I know that this is a session, business session, but I'm going to talk about food because that's been my life, and I am in front of you today is largely because I have built a career and a life in F&B industry, and I didn't know if I was good enough to do anything else, because sports, music, very competitive, and also you have to be at the top of your game. However, at the food industry, I found that I could express myself through my food, and I think that's where really I gave me that one spark that I needed to change my life. Otherwise, it was fairly, I would say, I wouldn't say difficult, but it was, it's like drifting away after college. There was not much stuff to do, and I'm thinking what to do, and this came along. And then one thing led to another, and food became the language of expression. Food became, of course, a career. Food became the path. So hence I'm going to talk about choosing the right path. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it's very important to choose what you're going to do, which is your calling. We of course are going to talk about choosing the path at more length before I kind of speak little, dwell about my past, what I've done. So importance of playing sports, importance of staying physically fit, mentally fit. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of your mental and physical well-being, because as a leader, as an entrepreneur, I think that's your first energy. We've all passed through COVID, lost businesses, gained things, gained wisdom. But if you have to look into it, the one thing that I'm going to talk about is yourself, which is you as the core. Let's say the capital of the business. It's your mind, it's your focus, it's your tenacity, it's what in your brain is what is going to drive your business. So yes, I'm going to move to the next one, my culinary journey. Very long journey across multiple countries. Australia played a very important role. Japan played a very important role. Spent some time in the US, spent some time in France. But each of these countries, I didn't go to eat in a restaurant. I know we all travel today to go and eat in restaurants. Please enjoy a meal in a good restaurant while you're traveling. But look at the culture. Look at what people do in this country to inspire you. Japan has this obsession of doing the smallest thing, the really, really minute thing that we will completely overlook, to the finest. And that makes them the world beater, be it in the food industry, be it in technology, doing the simplest. I'll give you two tasks that we don't even look at as tasks, because I'm a cook and I'll going to speak like one. As an entrepreneur, you might not even think that's a task. One is sharpening a knife, other one is washing rice. Now, washing rice is definitely a very important task for a homemaker. Sharpening knife is not an important task for anybody in this country. Japan takes these two so seriously that it is like how we get up in the morning and go to a temple and pray. Japan, somebody will get up and go to wash rice, and somebody will get up and go and sharpen a knife. And that is how obsessive Japan is about doing the smallest things. And they believe in this whole theory called less is more. So you do the small things in your business with true dedication, with true honesty, true sincerity. Lead with examples, and hence your team will also kind of start following these things. Because otherwise, I'll tell you, in my journey with 15 years as a culinary director of the Olive Group, which is India's largest restaurant company, I have noticed people don't even invest in their own knives. I keep saying this to my young chefs team all the time, because as the president of the young chefs, apart from the team that I work with, I also visit multiple colleges of chefs, where I keep talking about the importance of investing in yourself. Buy your own knife. Today we talk about every young student I come across, or young chefs I talk about, they all know everything about their phone. They will give you the GB, they will give you what data, what RAM, what storage, what brand. You ask them anything about any tool of the trade, they would be fumbling. And knife is something that is the first thing that one should invest on. So we're talking about investing in the trade, because I'm F&B again, I'm going back to talk about investing in the trade, which is equipments, which is technology, which is know-how. So invest in, I'm going to keep taking these, look down and look at my points so that I don't miss because I've kind of sequenced them in a certain way. So technology and hardware, food industry is a lot about technology and hardware. As much as it is about the heart, it's about the passion, it is about who we are. But it's, if you want to grow as a business, it is a lot to do with technology and hardware. And hence, this is where I'm saying that we can't look at equipment slightly. We always talk about recipes in our industry. We always talk about food memories. But I have been part of some of these American companies. I was fortunate to travel to their infrastructure back in New Orleans, where the training center, Jacob Javison Center in New Orleans has set up. The way this business has set up. So we all talk about McDonald's. We all talk about Domino's. And a lot of the times we actually talk down upon these two brands, saying, oh, it's not good enough, I make a better burger. But it's not about the burger, it's about the process, it's about the training, it is about the standardization, and it is about how these companies have made something absolutely nothing, which, like how we eat a vada pav, and we keep talking about this as an Indian burger, and we have this jumbo vada pav as an indigenous chain to talk about. But imagine these companies have gone across from a country where people eat bread and meat to Japan, where nobody eats bread and meat, and has become successful. So it's a beautiful journey. You have to, if I ever go to Tokyo, the first thing as I go down, because we don't get a beef burger here. I'm not allowed to say this loudly, but yeah, we don't get a beef burger in India. But Tokyo, as I get down, the first thing I go to the Burger King, and I eat a beef burger. As shallow as it might sound, because as a celebrity chef, I might supposed to go to Sushi Janmai and have a fine sushi, but this is how I am, because it connects me back to the process that how did you travel all the way from the US, come to a country which does not eat this at all. At least in India, we have a vada pav, so we can connect with a burger, saying, okay, this is a burger, I'll eat this. Vegetarian burger, aloo tikki burger. But how do you go to Japan where there's no bread? Because a country eating rice and so deep stuck in the tradition, and managed to sell a burger. So it's purely a process. Of course, there's a lot about marketing, but to create that product itself, I think it's a lot about technology, it's a lot about the equipments, it's a lot about the process, it's a lot about not just the know-how, but investing in setting up of the back end. So as a chef, as a cook, I have struggled, I have suffered, and hence I think I keep talking about the shoe, footwear, and the knee more. Well, while I was working in Australia, I was introduced to this brand called Birkenstock. This year it was at Lakme Fashion Week, and it has become one of the most fashionable footwear. I'm assuming a lot of you are already probably wearing a Birkenstock, but it was a footwear that was, it's a German-make footwear that was initially made for people for long hours on the foot, which is army. First World War, Second World War, then for nurses, doctors. So when I was working abroad, and especially first in Australia, initially to start with in 2000, I was told that please invest in this shoe, because otherwise you can't be surviving in the kitchen. So it starts as deep as investing in yourself, going to investing in your equipments, because in India we're constantly looking at backends where equipments are not up to the mark, the backend is not up to the mark, the space allocated for processes are not up to the mark. And here I'm going to talk about a couple of these very iconic restaurant chains that I've been part of. One happens to be Olive Bar and Kitchen. One happens to be Big Brewski, where we have invested a lot of time, effort, and energy in setting up of our back end, which means the back areas, or what we call the facilities of backbone of a restaurant hotel industry. Facility planning is something that we don't spend much time in India. We look at a concept, we look at a food, we look at recipes, we cook, and then we get excited, okay, let's do a business. But a facility is what allows you to be at Jacob Javison Center or in New Orleans and do business in India, and do business in Africa, and do business in Japan, because you are controlling your process, you're controlling your weights and measures, you're controlling your steps that the person would take, because everything is measured, from the areas to the space to the equipments. They are so highly standardized that the training carries this through. In India, I have seen this with Olive growing. When I was part of the Olive group, we were at 52 outlets with Olive Bar and Kitchen, Olive Bistro, Olive Beach here in Bangalore, Soda Bottle, Fatty Bow, Monkey Bar, 7 brands, 52 outlets, and it was a great struggle. Everybody, most of us, my CEO, I won't name him, he didn't sleep, and every night he would probably crash his car somewhere in Delhi, because he's so overworked and is running around because the processes were not in the place. But somehow, these are the only 2 places where I've seen there's a lot of energy that has gone in setting up of the backend, and hence, today if you see large part of the community in Bangalore or elsewhere is out of this company, which is Olive Group, which I was part of for about 14 years as a culinary director. Post that, I have never really taken up a job, and I can call myself an entrepreneur. I've run restaurants. I've opened my own restaurants. I run a successful consultancy company. Part of the consultancy company, I've opened concepts like soda bottle. I'm going to talk about soda bottle a bit. I have opened Bob's Bar, which is owned by the Big Brewski Group. I've opened Beer Cafe. I'll tell you why I'm taking these examples, because I'm part of 72 restaurants post my olive journey. So I won't be able to talk about all 72, plus I'll bore you a lot. But I'm going to talk about these 2 or 3 examples, a reason that how they started and where they are. So Bob's Bar and soda bottle. These are 2 regional concepts. Soda bottle is a very niche regional concept doing Parsi Irani food in Bombay. Or so, but start off in Bombay. But the first outlet we opened is in New Delhi, where there was no understanding of Irani food. Similarly, when we opened Bob's Bar here, the first outlet at Indiranagar, we did something called Carnatic food. There was no such concept. There was a Carnatic music gharana. Everybody knows about Carnatic music, but nobody ever spoke about Carnatic food. There's always Tamil, there's always Kerala, there's always South India. But there's nothing called Carnatic. So this is again where I come back to talking about unique concepts, individualities, creating something unique, being fearless. Both these concepts were very fearless concepts. You can all hear me at the back, right? Because I'm going on and off from the mic. You can, okay, fantastic. So both these concepts are very fearless. Fearless being, they're not a cut, copy, paste concept. Any of these fearless concepts will take a lot of research, which it took. Bob's Bar took about a year, year and a half. Soda bottle took about a year. Though I'm a Bombay boy, my godmother is Parsi, still took me 6-8 months of running around, putting concepts, recipes, ideas, eating, understanding what exactly are people going to be. It's not just the food, it's the look and feel of the place. It's a mood board, it's a story that you're trying to tell through that concept. What made these 2 concepts successful? I think it was purely the research that went behind it. So it was a unique idea. 1, it was not copied from anybody. 2, it had a lot of its own research. So there's a research bank that build these 2 concepts in terms of the look and feel, in terms of the interiors, the mood board, the storytelling, the recipes that it would keep serving for the next 8 or 10 years. Also a commissary setup. Now both these restaurants were based out of a commissary. We always do fine restaurants, but we don't really look at commissary because we think of it as a fast food concept. But these 2 restaurants that I built from scratch, we built a commissary at the back end, trying to make sure that, because it's impossible to find cooks to train with these recipes, because it's not a known skill. Everybody will make a butter chicken, everybody will make a kali dal, everybody will make a mishmash tandoori chicken. While I'm here in Bangalore, I'll definitely eat the chicken grill from Empire. But it is not one of those recipes. So every recipe was a curated recipe, and it was not easy to teach your young crew members all these recipes at a go, and hence the commissary setup helped a lot. When I'm talking about training crew members, I'm going to talk about training at length, because this is something again we miss out. And I think in any businesses, I've been part of the Reliance business setup when Dhirubhai Ambani Knowledge City was set up. Olive, of course, I've mentioned. I've been part of the Old World Hospitality, which is the owner of Indian Accent. I'm going to come back and discuss Indian Accent in a bit. Currently, I'm also a consultant to the Specialty Group, which is the largest restaurant company of this country. 140, 150 restaurants, 8 or 10 brands. The one thing I think that I see common between these large restaurant companies that have survived the test of time, Olive Delhi is celebrating 20th tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll miss it. No, day after, Sunday brunch. Unfortunately, I will miss it, but 20 years of a restaurant company is unheard of. And starting from one metro city, going to multiple cities, to tier 1, tier 2. So hence we're also going to discuss tier 1, tier 2 business opportunities. So yes, coming back to the training. What is training? Training is not just catching hold of a few people and teaching them how to cook, which is normally what we do in the F&B industry. Training is a thought process. Training is a vision. Training is something that you envisage your future. And hence, I remember when I was part of the corporate training program of Accor, I heard Mr. Anand Mahindra speak. And that truly is life-changing. So I will talk about Mr. Anand Mahindra speaking. I'll also talk about I'll get the name again, I'm forgetting the name. Mr. Azim Premji speaking. The couple of these speakers in my program, just truly, truly life-changing. So training is something where you find young mind. It does not have to be very talented, does not have to be extremely well educated, like we go to a fancy school and pick up graduates. No, it has to be somewhere where we find people who we can motivate, who we can mold, who we can inspire to follow our dreams. Ours, as in I'm saying, let's say you're an entrepreneur, you train your team to follow your dreams, give them a future, give them a vision which is bigger than yourself. And that would probably bring in a lot of young people to work for you, believe in you, and grow a company from something like how Olive started in 1998, 2000, from one bench and one chair at Phoenix Mill, Bombay, to becoming a multi-million-dollar company, which is, I can't say the valuation, but it's quite highly valued, right? I think this got sold once or twice. So training, I spoke about technology, I spoke about infrastructure, I spoke about training. Indian accent, Indian accent is a restaurant we all talk about. India's top, everybody knows Indian accent here, right? Fantastic. So World Top 50, Asia Top 50. What is the base? Base is a company called Old World Hospitality that is based out of, if you know Delhi, you will have this place called, it's in the center of Lodhi Road, I forget the name, which is where Old Hospitality is based out of. But largely it started off as a training center, which is partly owned by the Mahindra company, partly owned by Mr. Khattar. But they ran a training program from 1994 of hiring young talents and training them to be mixologists, managers, chefs, and like-minded people in the industry. And the result is Indian accent. Indian accent opened in 2008. By the time it became famous was 2013 or 14 when it got featured in the Mila Guide in Singapore. Also, we like when anything that comes from outside, we kind of value it a little more. So that's a thing for India as well. So anyway, so training program starts at 94. A restaurant opens in 2008 in an unknown little location in Delhi. By the time 2014, which is almost 10 years later, it hits the top charts. People start talking about it, and today it's a history. Like Indian accent is a place that we are all proud of. I was part of the same training program from 1996, and I can tell you that there's a lot that needs to be done. Taking examples from Ruby Tuesdays, a place, I've visited their place and training center back in the US, spent some time there. TGIF, Hard Rock, McDonald's I keep talking about all the time, Domino's, two our Indian brands like Indian accent, Olive. There's a large part of it is about the people that we have trained, or the people that, the like-minded people that came in, joined the program and became the backbone and also became the future of the company. If you look up these companies now, you'll see the top 3, 4, 5 guys, the CEOs, vice presidents, corporate chef, culinary director are all from a training program and not hired from anywhere. Oberoi, of course, is a great example. So please invest in training. Even if you're in a tier 2, tier 3 city, this would give you the strength to grow your business. You will come out of the tier 2 to a tier 1 or make the tier 2 into a tier 1 because of the strength of the training. I'm also going to talk about tier 2, tier 3 cities, how they're influencing the global food scenario. I'm going to talk about El Bulli, which was one of once upon a time world's best restaurant. How am I doing on the time? I'm out of time? Okay. Please raise your hand if I'm boring you with my stories. I have a lot of points, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer some questions. I'm going to quickly talk about tier 2, tier 3, tier 2, tier 3, because I am told a lot of you come from towns which are around Bangalore. So I'll talk about El Bulli, which went on to become the world's best restaurant for 12 years in a row. I'll talk about Chef Saby Gorai restaurant, which is in Modena. And recently, as recent as 2 months back, our own Chef Pratik Sandhu opening Nar, which is in Kasauli. Now, Kasauli is not even in the map, right? We talk about Chandigarh, we talk about Coimbatore, we talk about Visakhapatnam, because Hyderabad is done, Bangalore is done to death, Bombay is done, Delhi is done. So we're all going out. I'm doing projects in Calcutta also, we're doing a lot of work, but let's say we are doing Jaipur, Udaipur, we are doing Ranchi, we are doing Shiliguri. So similarly, the smaller towns. But imagine Kasauli, which is not a town, not in the map, not even in the Reliance stores 1300 dots that we'll open. It's not even there. And somebody actually has the courage to actually go and open up a restaurant saying, I am going to create a destination dining. So I have great respect for such people for changing the landscape. So you're the first mover's advantage and disadvantage both. You go somewhere where let's say you are in Coimbatore or you are in some smaller city where you feel that you have the need to copy something of Bangalore or from Bombay or from Delhi, but you don't have to. You'll have to have this whole attitude of being fearless and create a unique destination dining experience or a destination wedding experience, destination convention center experience where people will drive to you for. So the experience has to be unique, be it a resort experience, resort and spa, be it food, be it dining. Create something that would bring people to you. And I strongly believe that there is an opportunity in this country, especially with, like I said, 1320 small cities, towns is what the dots I see whenever I see the supermarkets. So if it can be in 1300 locations like Domino's can be, I'm assuming all of you can aspire to be at least in 13, if not all 100, 1300 locations. So start with one, then go to 13. This dear friend of mine, Ajay Goda, he keeps saying, I'm not leaving Bangalore. I'm going to go to every neighborhood of Bangalore to open one Bob's Bar. And then if I'm done with Bangalore's neighborhood, I will then look at going outside. So, there are people with this kind of aspirations in this city. And then there are people who want to go, chart the national map and then go into the global map, like the Olive brand is doing, or let's say the specialty group is doing. They're now in Middle East, they're in London, they're in New York, they're in China, they're opening Singapore and looking at Australia. So, these are all companies that have grown in the last 15, 20, 25 years. I've been part of a lot of their journeys. So I can keep telling their stories to inspire you that how they started so small. Like literally when Olive opened, the office had one chair and one bench. We didn't even had two chairs. So Mr. A.D. Singh sat in the chair and I sat on the bench. And that's how the company started. And today you can see what is happening at Olive. My connection with Bangalore, I've already spoken about Olive Beach, I've spoken about Bob's Bar, I've spoken about Big Brewski. Currently, I'm also part of this brand called Red Rhino, which is a brewery brand. They are bottling their fresh beer. I think after Toyd, we are the second brand, or maybe third after Geist. We are in all the international lounges, so I feel very cool. Whenever I'm at the airport, at the international lounge, you see the Red Rhino beer. I make it a point to order one of them just to, attract people's attention that this is one of the beers we are brewing. So there is so much opportunity today as I see. It started off as F&B space. Now they've gone into kegging beer. Now they've gone into bottled beer. And then from bottled beer, they've gone into a full-fledged brewery. So this whole journey of how business models can change right now is a great example. So keep your minds open with opportunities. Start and be open to other things joining and coming into the fold of things. Keep doing the hard work. I have a serious fear of failure, I think, which drives me every day, and I don't see any reason of having that thing that the doubt, self-doubt. It's all right. We all have it. I have it a lot, like I said, and I think that's what drives me. So let's be open about ideas. Let us try different things. Let us not get stuck. Like I've given the example of the Olive Group. I've given the example of the Specialty Group. It might have started as a Median restaurant. Today they're going into bottled beers or breweries. So wherever there's opportunity lies, you move along with the flow, and hence we talk about trends. I'm going to talk 2 minutes about trends. How are we doing on the time? We're almost out, right? Okay. Quickly, 2 minutes on the trends. We keep talking about global trends. I look at avocados and I think of trends at the same time. It's important to follow the trend, but it's important to also have your own identity. Let us not lose ourselves and our core ethos, core belief of who we are, why we're here, what brought us here in the first place based on the trends. Trends will come and go, but if you have a strong ideology and a business model, you will hold on to it and you will be timeless. So I rather you invest on businesses like timeless businesses like yourself that would always carry us through then being trendy. In that, yes, there would have to be always a time for innovation. Little innovation always is required. Little cleaning up, little innovation is required. But definitely don't go so deep into trends that you lose the reason of why you're here, or what brought you here, or what is your, the love that you started this thing with. Okay, I still have a lot of things to talk about, but I don't have time. I would just say this one line by, completing this little chat session in the morning, that stay hungry. Stay lean, don't get comfortable. I get so inspired when I speak to Mr. A.D. Singh, when I speak to Anjunda. Both, I'm not allowed to say they're both 60 plus, but they're both past their prime. But the kind of energy they bring in from 5 in the morning at the golf course to 12 at night, it's just absolutely amazing to see. So I think a lot of the business would be about how you inspire your team, how you carry it forward, how you lead with examples, and hence I would say stay fit, stay healthy, stay hungry, stay lean, and wish you all good luck and have a wonderful day. If you have any quick questions, do I have a time for a question? If anybody has any questions, otherwise I will see you through the day at lunch and through the lunch, and we can chat more.
It'll be nice if we can take questions during the networking
Sure,
break, if
of
that's
course.
okay with you.
Perfectly all
Sorry,
right.
Chef.
Thank you, sir. So we'll chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.
Just a sec. Ranjana, can I request you, please?